Okay, so let's talk about a company that's been making a ton of noise in the Ethereum space lately, BMNR. It's built around this really unique treasury strategy that has a lot of people talking, and today we're going to break down exactly what they're doing and why they're getting so much attention right now.
So what's the real story here? I mean, with all this chatter, is BMNR a real, genuine opportunity that's about to pop off? Or is this just a classic case of hype getting way ahead of the actual reality? Let's dig in and figure it out.
All right, so at its core, BMNR is what you'd call a next-generation Ethereum treasury growth company. Now, the best way to think about it isn't really as a tech startup. It's more like an investment vehicle that is laser-focused on just one thing: accumulating and growing its holdings of Ethereum.
And, their goal is refreshingly simple. They really have just one mission: get as much Ethereum as they possibly can. Then, they use a mix of financial strategies and mining to make that pile of ETH even bigger, with the whole point being to pass those returns on to their shareholders. It's a very direct model.
So how do they actually pull this off? Well, it's kind of like a four-part cycle that just feeds itself. It all kicks off with accumulating ETH. Then they put that capital to work using mining and some other treasury strategies. See, this isn't just about sitting on the coins. It's about actively making their assets work for them to generate long-term returns. And the final piece of the puzzle? Distribute those returns back to shareholders, which, of course, fuels the whole cycle all over again.
And here's the thing. This model really seems to be working. The recent performance is the exact reason why analysts are suddenly paying so much attention. You've got the value of their treasury going up, their ETH production is getting better, and they're doing it all more efficiently. I mean, those are the exact green flags that get investors really excited.
Which brings us to the next big question. Why now, right? Why is BMNR suddenly the name on everyone's lips? Well, it looks like it's caught in the middle of a perfect storm of positive market forces, and all of them are swirling right around Ethereum.
Let's break down these tailwinds, because this is important. First off, Ethereum staking yields are on the rise. For a company holding a giant treasury of ETH, that means their main asset is basically generating more and more passive income. Second, you've got Layer 2 growth just exploding, which drives even more activity back to the main Ethereum network. Third, institutional interest in ETH, it's at an all-time high, which signals that mainstream acceptance is really kicking in. And the crucial part, BMNR's whole model is built to scale right alongside ETH's price. So as Ethereum grows, their potential just grows exponentially with it.
So this all boils down to one really simple but powerful idea. If you believe Ethereum is about to enter a new bull cycle, then a company whose entire business model is based on holding and growing ETH could see its value multiply even faster than the asset itself. It's basically a leveraged bet on the whole ecosystem.
And that brings us squarely to the bull case, the argument for why BMNR could have absolutely massive upside from here. Let's really look at what has investors so excited about this thing.
You've probably heard this comparison thrown around, and it's a really powerful one. Calling BMNR a mini MicroStrategy for Ethereum, well, it just frames it perfectly, right? Just like MicroStrategy became this huge leveraged bet on Bitcoin success, a lot of people are starting to see BMNR as a very similar, focused play on the future of Ethereum.
So what are the specific opportunities really driving all this bullish feeling? First, their revenue was directly tied to the price of ETH. That creates massive upside potential. Second, their treasury can grow passively, just as the Ethereum network itself gets bigger and better. And, this is a big one, its market cap is still relatively small, which means there's a strong argument that it has a ton of room to run. And that's exactly why we're starting to see more and more analysts jump on board.
But, and this is a big but, every investment has two sides to it. That high reward potential we just talked about, it's tied directly to Ethereum's growth. And that also means it's a high risk proposition. The company's success is almost entirely dependent on a market that is, as we all know, famously volatile and just notoriously hard to predict.
So it's absolutely essential that we take a sober look at the other side of the argument. Let's flip the coin and explore the bear case and the very real risks that are involved with a strategy like this one.
So, what could go wrong? Well, the most obvious risk is that the price of ETH could fall off a cliff, and that would take BMNR down with it. Beyond just the market swings, you've got the ever-present threat of regulatory changes hanging over everything. Then there's simple execution risk. Can the team actually deliver on what they're promising? And finally, let's be real. This is crypto. Market sentiment can flip from euphoric to terrified practically overnight.
Okay, so we've laid out the bull case and the bear case.
Let's try to bring it all together into one clear final takeaway that synthesizes both the massive opportunity and the very real risk. So here's the bottom line. BNMR is not some kind of guaranteed ticket to the moon. Far from it. What it is a highly speculative, high-risk, high-reward bet on the entire future of the Ethereum ecosystem. If Ethereum thrives, BMNR could thrive exponentially. But if Ethereum stumbles, BMNR is going right down with it. It's really as simple as that.
And that leaves us with one final and, I think, crucial question to think about. When you strip everything else away, is a bet on BMNR really just a leveraged bet on Ethereum itself? That's the core idea you need to chew on.